never heard of. He was born in Michigan, raised in Malibu, California. He went to high school with a bunch of people you've never heard of, like Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez, Rob and Chad Lowe, the Penn brothers, Sean Penn and Chris Penn. His dad was a film director. He grew up in the industry. He eschewed sports scholarships to 17 different universities and chose to go Ivy League as well. Went to Princeton, where he set the NCAA records for interceptions, most in career by games played, and in a season. He was a free agent signing of the Buffalo Bills before he went into acting full time. He has appeared in over 50 films, and in a show maybe you've heard of called Lois and Clark. Dean Cain. These two are just seeing each other for the first time in 10 years. Because we have limited time, there's a couple different ways we can do this. I want to ask them a couple questions to get going, but if anybody has a question, just raise your hand like your IQs are normal, and we will call you. We'll bring you to the microphone, and you guys can ask questions of the panel so that we can get what you guys want to hear rather than what I want to hear. But what I want to hear is pretty cool. So the first thing I want to ask you guys about is you've both been doing this for decades now, even though you don't look like it.
He's calling us old.
Yes, that's a nice way of doing it. When your agent called you, or your manager called you and said, I've got a part, I want you to read for it, or I want you to take a look at it. It's for Superman. It's for Lex Luthor. What happened?
Yeah, they didn't ask me to play Lex Luthor, they asked me to play the other guy, but for me it was just another audition. It was just a regular audition. They said, it's Superman, there's a new show going out, it's going to be Superman. I was like, I was brand new, and I had met some of the producers who were on the show before for other projects, and they brought me in, and I read the script and I thought, wow, this is pretty unique. I thought I had a real good take on it. I was the first person that the producer sat down in a producer session and read. And Robert Butler was our exec producer, and he had created some great shows, and Hill Street Blues, and on and on and on. He's fantastic. I came in, I said, I have a unique take on this. I think I got a good idea. He said, let's see it. I did my audition. He said, thanks, see you later. And I left. That was it. And then about 3 weeks later, which is normally, if it goes 3 weeks, it's usually dead. I had forgotten about it, and someone said, hey, they like you for that Superman thing. I went, what? Really? And then the process started, and it became a reality a few weeks after that. They probably just offered it to John.
No, I'll tell you this story. Well, first thing, so I had a manager who was called me up. I was living in LA in those days, and he said, John, they're having trouble casting the Lex Luthor role over at Warner Brothers for this series called Lois and Clark. And immediately I heard the phrase Lois and Clark. I knew that something was original about it because it's a play on words from Lewis and Clark, obviously, the great explorers. And so I knew there was something clever about it immediately, right? So then so they sent over the script and I read it and I loved it the way Dean did immediately. I knew that there was a very interesting and a different point of view, which is that they were treating this old mythology of the Superman mythology, the mythology that I had grown up with, that you grew up with, but in a completely unique way, which was that it was almost treated like romantic comedy with action and adventure mixed in with it. And so, and upon closing the script, I had an instant idea about how to play Lex Luthor. And what they had written and what I understood was that modern villains don't look like villains. You and I know really well after the banking crisis that modern villains dress like bankers. They look like stockbrokers. They'll shake your hand, look you in the eye and say, give me your money, trust me, I'll take care of you. And that's exactly, but we now know that they're all sociopaths, right? And so the same thing happened with me. I thought, okay, Lex Luthor's going to look like Cary Grant, but he's going to think like Richard III, the great hunchback villain from Shakespeare, walked around like this. Well, in the 1400s, that's how you did a villain, right? Or the 1600s, they had to give him a hunchback. But anyway, so I went in, I put on my best Armani suit, I went over to Warner Brothers, I met Leslie Moonves, who was running Warner Brothers in those days, before he went to run CBS.
And now the world.
And now the world.
Yeah.
And then I did my audition, and then he said, that's it, go to ABC, and I auditioned again for Bob Iger, who now runs the world with Felicity.
Disney.
And, I mean, really, honestly, if you want to know how it works, I don't know if you had to do this. Did you go in front of the network and
Oh,
do
yeah.
your audition, right?
Oh yeah, I had to do it a bunch of times. I did the network. Kevin Sorbo and I were the last two for
That's
Superman.
outstanding. That is outstanding.
And I heard his audition too, and I was like, oh, I got this. He'll hit me for that one. But yeah, we auditioned with there was 3 Loises, there were 2 Supermen, and there were some Jimmy Olsens running around, and I didn't know anybody, and I was like, okay. And I had done 2 scenes. They asked me to prepare 3. The third one was a just in case. But I heard Kevin do his, and I thought, okay, I got this. I did my 2 scenes. I didn't blow them, which I was very excited about. And I figured, all right, this is good. And then they're like, okay, they want to see you do the 3rd scene. And I was like, oh no, what did I screw up? And then I went and did it, and they had to tell me the next day, because I had some other shows I was testing for in 2nd and 3rd position. And so they told me the next day that I got it. I was madly excited and celebrated, but then I went away that weekend to ski, a ski vacation I had planned. They brought me back on that following Monday and made me audition with 10 different Lois Lanes in front of the network, and I was terrified that they were going to discover my secret, which is that I could not play the role.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to be here in St. Louis. This is not my first time. Can I just say that unfortunately you cannot record this? Oh,